It's all about delegation, the art and science of delegation. Let's see how we can delegate and get things done. Delegating, why? In fact, you wonder actually why people don't delegate. Because delegation is often seen as a difficult area. So, how do you delegate effectively? What sorts of things can you delegate? How can you ensure that they will be completed to your own high standards? Is it quicker to do it yourself? Or are your people capable? Is your team already too busy? Or what will you do if you delegate everything? These are some of the questions, some of the thoughts, some of the issues explaining why people don't delegate. So let's go further and look at what is the process of delegation in a nutshell. Very simple. Define the task. Select a team or an individual to whom you want to delegate. Assess the person's capability or the team's capability. But have a discussion with them, explain the role. Very clearly specify outputs. Agree on the resources that they need to make sure things happen. Also agree on the time scales. Supervise them and support them for whatever help and support they would need. And all along, provide feedback. The whole dimension is when you look at delegating or elevating, it's a 5-step process. There are 5 critical steps for planned delegation. Provides a way of getting work done and also a way of motivating and developing people to bring in fresh ideas. This in turn will develop greater trust and a climate for success within the team. That's why think, delegate, do not abdicate. So if you need to diagnose, if you need to decide and delegate the right role to the right person, we need to look at the 5-step process. The step number 1, analyze the task. Followed by step number 2, analyze the person. So we are doing both, analyzing the task as well as the person who is the right person for that task. Yeah? Then we move on to step 3, agree on a monitoring system. And step 4 is set the climate so that the performance happens and the delegation becomes effective. And step 5 is to review the progress periodically. Let's go in a little deeper and understand. Delegating step 1, analyze the task. Identifying tasks you are unlikely to complete on your own and mark a portion or all of them for delegation. Are there any long-term projects which you could delegate whilst they are still in the developmental stage? Will the task provide the individual with some sort of challenge, or are you just delegating things that don't really require delegation? See, when you say analyzing the task, 3 things are very important. So it's the people, it's the systems, and it's the task. So who else will you need to inform if you're delegating a task which involves others? And there is a 5th point. How can you ensure that the individual will have the right degree of authority and responsibility to achieve that task? Can you link delegation to coaching and development? Is another very important question to find answers to. Look at analyzing the task actually has a very beautiful way. Look at this diagram. This diagram may help you understand which tasks are suitable for delegation by looking at which quadrant they fit into. Right? One, on the x-axis, you have the sense of urgency from low to high. And on the y-axis, you have challenge and development, again from low to high. So if the challenge and development is very high, while the sense of urgency may not be very low, that's long-term projects. And there is a developmental opportunity when you delegate the task. But of course, if it is low sense of urgency or the challenge and development is very low, it's okay. Whereas Delegate if the person is ready, if the challenge and development is high, and the sense of urgency is very, very high. But when the sense of urgency is high, but the challenge of development is high, yes, it's good to delegate, but then beware of dumping the tasks, right? So let's move into step 2. So now that we know what to do with the task, let's analyze the person. Who are the team members most suitable for delegation? And what workload do they have? Do they have the resources, the knowledge, and the skills to achieve the task? Will it dovetail into work they're already doing? What is in it for them? Why should they do it? What's the benefit? What's the gain? And will it help the development, provide them with greater visibility, or provide a coaching opportunity? The whole dynamics of delegation is trying to stretch people but don't break them. The challenges provided by delegation can be motivational, but if handled badly, can be stressful and threatening. So you have to watch it. You have to be careful. Let's agree on a monitoring system as our step 3. Involve the individual in the setting up of the monitoring system. So it is a dialogue that happens. Agree goals and targets for what you want to achieve and by when. You may need to break the task down into stages or into subtasks. Break them down. Both parties need to be clear about what is being delegated and what is not being delegated. Define clear success criteria so that you both know what quality standards are required and what the end result should look like. Agree times to review progress. This will vary according to the task and the confidence of the individual. And we move into step 4. Let us set the climate for delegation, because you want a delegation to be effective. You want a person to be motivated. You want him to take the ownership. So what do? Listen to ideas from the person to whom you're delegating. He or she will often bring a fresh perspective to the situation. That's a very important point to note. And keep the communication channels open at all times so the person can approach you if problems are encountered. And build in praise and feedback along the way so that the individual feels appreciated and ensure that credit is given for the work done. Don't interfere between review periods. You need to build trust and show that you can empower the individual. Build in coaching and development opportunities where necessary so the person has the skills and abilities to complete the task. And then finally, step 5 is to review the progress. Review progress on a regular basis. Provide support and guidance throughout. Ask searching questions to help the individual think things through rather than provide all the answers. So you're not to give answers, you need to make them think by asking questions. When the task is completed, review the progress against the success criteria that both of you had already set together. Review the learning, identifying any new skills and competencies that have been acquired and any new learning goals for the future. And gain feedback on your role. Consider if there is anything else you could do in the future to improve your delegation efforts. One very important dimension: open your mind's door to delegate right. Today, the behavioral science of psychology has made rapid advances in enabling human understanding and appreciation of mind's true potential. So that is why, thereby, the benefits of psychometric analysis helps you become aware and can make use of it so that you can optimize human capital by fully making use of the strengths and powers to delegate right. That's the point. To delegate right, you need the strengths and powers of the individual or the team and progress despite whatever the challenges are. Psychometric simply shows if one's mind or one's mind's ways and potential suit the role and responsibility required in that given job, in that given situation, or the subject of study, career, environment, or business. And that's the beauty. Delegate the right role to the right person. See, the inner strength assessment and the inner strength analysis gives you insights into the choice of the right person for the right role. So, because our job in delegation is to diagnose the right person for the right role, and then make a decision. You decide, and then delegate the right role to the right person. So let us look at that. The effective delegation starts by finding the right person for the role, is to assess and identify their inner drives and winning or the winner's strengths. Learn how to diagnose people to leverage their strengths and realize your objective. How to deal with their weaknesses so that it does not become a threat to achieving your goal of as to the very purpose of your delegation. For more, you're welcome to visit our channel, Oscar Murphy Life Strategist. Please subscribe and then follow on. Wish you all the best in your delegation efforts.